up, YouTube, and welcome to the Killer Comic Show. I'm Tom, and I'll be your host for this evening. I've been left in charge. Andy's left the show, and Charlie's just not here. So I put out the Killer Comic Show bat signal, and I have got the better-looking, much more professional northern version of myself. We've got Triple G on the show. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Not bad, Romy. Excited. Obviously, when you put out the killer sign, I had to answer because I love this show, as you guys know. So excited to be. I think this is the first time I've done a show one-on-one with you, Tom.
I think excited. It's the first time we've gone one-on-one with the great one.
Yeah. I mean, I've dreamt about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Do you know what I mean?
Hasn't? Yeah. Who hasn't dreamt about going one-on-one with the great one?
Yeah. So looking forward.
You've done well, mate. You've been all right.
Yeah, not bad at all. Busy as ever. Churning out the content, but yeah, looking forward to talking some comics.
Well, I appreciate you being here, mate. So I appreciate that you've just literally got off a live show with Simon. So you know, fair play to you guys. If you haven't seen that, guys, or you haven't get a chance to watch the show earlier, then go onto Simon's channel. They did a really good review of the One Piece TV show anime, and I think, did you cover the comics as well at some point?
Briefly, yeah, we briefly talked about it. So Simon, much like yourself, is a big anime fan. I was fresh to One Piece, but I loved it. I know you've watched most of it now, haven't you? It's very cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm completely up to date with the anime and the manga, so kind of I know everything. It's like 1,092 issues.
Madness.
That's a lifetime.
Yeah, because Simon was saying he was going to read it. I said I'd be dead. There's no way I can read all of that. I'd be dead by then.
I'll give you a little secret. I did it in a year.
All right.
So I did it in a year by doing one or two a night. But I did skip parts. So I watched like two of the anime, and I'd know that would cover three of the issues. So I'd skip those three issues.
And I've never really read a lot of anime, but my understanding is it's a quicker read than comic books. Is that right? Sometimes you can flick
not
through
as many. Yeah, not as many pages. I mean, you've got to get used to reading it backwards. If that makes sense. So our disclaimer: we're going to get into the comic books that we've chosen to read today, and because I read Japanese manga, when I started reading the Batman comic, I read it back to front.
All right.
The first couple of pages, I read it back to front. I was like, "This story doesn't make sense. What's going on here? Like, I don't understand."
Yeah.
Disclaimer on that one when we get to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, mate, let's have a look, see who's here, who's joined us this evening. So we've got the Killer Comic Show, which is Charlie. He's on the train, so he's just letting us know that he's around. Happy Thursday, everyone. Let's have a good one. We have Chris Bell. Welcome, mate. Nice to see you again. We've got everyone's favorite Heisenberg. We've got Leon Russell is in the house. Hello, mate. You okay? The Triple G is here. He's not just here on the show. He's typing away. I mean, I don't know how people do that multitasking stuff. We've got Bat Dan. He's in this evening. Thanks for joining us, mate. Our every time we do the show, Stream Elements turns up. So fair play for being the most consistent, other than Connie. So fair play. Scott Shelf's here. Nice to see you, Scott. I don't know if you've been here a while, actually. So nice to see you back. Nice to see you back on. Might come and see us and all that. Scott, I've got a PDF for you about a workout. So hit me up after the show. Let me give me a bit of a nudge because I'm terrible for forgetting things.
Scott's doing some great stuff on Instagram at the moment where he's comparing publishers and books and things. It's really interesting.
It is good. Yeah, Scott's really good with his ideas of things. I remember doing the origin stories with Scott. It was one of my first videos with Scott, which I really enjoyed.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. We've got Yonko Demands is here again. Nice to see you, mate. We've got Paul in the 619. Nice to see you, buddy. And GP Venom's here. Nice to see you, GP. Again, GP has just been on the show with Peter over on Simon's channel. So these guys are double dipping for the evening. I mean, hashtag double dipping.
Love a double dip. Love a double dip.
Yeah,
I can't quite manage a triple dip, but a double dip I'm all right with. Yeah.
Well, we might have to change your name to Triple Dip. Can't manage a triple dip, but he'll go for one.
Yeah.
And Fuzzy Dunlop is here. Nice to see you, mate. Thank you for joining. I did see you in the chat earlier over on the other show. I did say hello, but I don't think it went through because at the time I was trying to wolf down some food and type and kind of sort this out. So yeah, got a bit carried away. So anyway, moving on, shall we get into the crux of the show, shall we, mate? Shall we get into what we like to call the business end of the show, where we kind of don't win anything, but we get a chance to show off some awesome books. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So I've just seen GP's comment. Tom, you should have been on the show, mate. It would have been gone for hours. Actually, just reminds me. I wonder if GP remembers. It's still on YouTube. It's still on this channel somewhere. Me and him and Charlie did a Power Ranger review, and it just went on and on and on. And I think it just got to the point where I think Charlie just, in the end, was like, "Yeah, okay, guys, go off you go," and just shut the show down. Because me and GP were just like rabbiting away. You know, shit happens.
Very
and all
cool.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got very carried away, as it were.
Still not read anything Power Rangers. I need to get into it. No,
do you know what? I would recommend the first Ryan Parrott written omnibuses. So there's 3 of them. You've got the Shattered Grid, you've got Mighty Morphin, and then there's another one. There's like the 3 of them together. Shattered Grid is the last one of the 3. It's very worth reading just that story. Anything other than that, after that, it got a bit complicated and a bit ridiculous. But up to Shattered Grid and after Shattered Grid was all right, because you got this Dakin character who's basically Tommy, but he's cool. He's a really cool character they bring in.
I'll have to check it out.
Looks like Comic Deals here. Nice to see you, James. Happy birthday, mate, for the other day. I did see a picture of you out and about having a few pints. Probably should have shown it, actually. If I'd have got it, I'd have put it up on the screen, but I haven't got it with me, so, unfortunately.
Cheeky bugger, honestly.
Cheeky bugger.
Cheeky bugger.
Anyway, you guys didn't come here to hear me rabbit on about Power Rangers. You came here to find out what our killer cover picks are this week. So these are the cover picks for yesterday. For New Comic Book Day, that is the 20th of September. So up first, I think, is mine. So I've gone for Superman issue 6, and I've gone for cover F by Mikkel Jane, the costume accurate variant. And I've decided that I just had to put my own little spin on it. So it is the Killer Comic Show Superman cover. That is my pick this week. So hopefully you will all vote for me, because you love the Killer Comic Show.
I see what you're doing.
Vote for me.
Yeah, I see what you're doing there. Yeah, I get that.
I mean, a little bit of bribery goes a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think to this cover, Peter? I mean, apart from the logo.
I love it, mate. I love it. I mean, anybody that watches any of my stuff will know that I'm a big Superman fan. So I do love a Superman cover, and I love I love an exposed chest. So I do like the ripping of the shirt, kind of the classic. Yeah, you know, and I think that all works tremendous. He's looking right into my soul, Tom. Do you know what I mean? He's piercing. He's piercing as, you know. I like it. It's very cool.
Big baby blues, isn't it?
Yeah. Very cool.
Do you know what I like about this cover? And I like, despite the fact that I've made a bit of a joke out of it, the reason I picked it was because I saw it going through the League of Comics, and I thought to myself, if I had this, you could get absolutely anything drawn in that little section. So you could have like armor, you could have him turn into a transformer, or you could have like, I thought about Krang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. How cool it would be to put Krang inside Superman. I mean, that sounds rude.
No, yeah. So sorry, I've misunderstood then. So the entire chest is in the actual comic is white, and you can put what you want in there.
Yeah. So I put the logo in, but it's a blank cover. Basically, it's a blank area for people to draw on.
See, I kind of want to get a few of them for Thought Bubble now, because that would be awesome to take around artists and get them to draw something in there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, do it, mate. I mean, now that you've said that, I might actually get one and get Andy to do one for me. Send it over.
Well, I might, I'll grab a couple and let us know, and I'll get you one. Like the idea of that.
But it's because for a few years ago, when I first started Not Quite Mint, me and Rich talked about what we'd do if we could have an exclusive, and we talked about having, if we ever got a Transformer exclusive, how cool it would be to do Teletran 1 as the cover, but you've got a very small screen that you could draw anything you wanted on. Because when you go to Comic Cons and you want to go for a commission, it takes hours for them to do a full A3 or an A4. But imagine you had like a little poster card size area. They could just do a quick sketch and then sign it. And you then got your own little remark. So I think this is the same sort of premise, which is pretty cool.
I love it. I didn't notice that one. I'm going to get a couple of them.
Yeah. There you go, then, mate. That's it. End of the show. Pete's going to vote for me. Thanks everyone for going. So next up is Charlie's pick, and Charlie's gone for Harley Quinn, Black, White, and Redder. I mean, there's no surprise that it's a Harley Quinn, and he's gone for the Micah and Bofo cover. I'm going to butcher every single name that he's written on here.
It's nice. Isn't it?
This is a cardstock variant, but I also think, I don't know if Charlie's picked that one, but I do believe it's supposed to be a mirror, but there is a foil variant of this. So the red will be very kind of shiny, and then the whole thing will be shiny. So it will look like a mirror, I think. I believe that's true.
He loves his Harley Quinn covers, doesn't he?
I think anything Harley Quinn, and Charlie's all over it.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. And I do like the black and white covers. I like the way the colours stand out. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. Oh, yeah, I can see our fingers now and the reflection on the side of the book.
Yes. Well, my only criticism with this book, I mean, I really like it. I think it'd be really cool as a variant with a foil cover, is that so she'd be on the right hand that's on her hip. Doesn't look like it belongs to her.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It almost looks like it's not supposed to be there. Yeah. But I know that's obviously how she's standing.
Yeah.
It just looked quite right to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. It's okay. It's not as good as yours, but it's okay.
Thanks, mate. I'll take that one. There you go. Peter has spoken, everybody. The Lord of YouTube.
Right.
And finally, I will let the man himself explain this one, but this is Peter's cover.
Just look at it.
It's not.
Look at it.
I don't know why Charlie's left it as Harley Quinn, Black, White, and Redder. Yeah, he had one job.
It's definitely not Harley Quinn. So this is Predator versus Wolverine McNiven variant. I like his art style anyway. He's the guy who did Old Man Logan, isn't he? I think he did all the artwork for that. There was a whole host of Predator versus Wolverine covers. There's a really nice Peach Momoko one as well. But this one just jumped out. I'm a bit of a sucker for a bit of blood and gore, and you can see the luminous green blood on Wolverine's claws there, and obviously the Predator's looking at the blades, which I thought was a bit weird to start with, but yeah, I like that. And then you've got his blades covered in blood as well, battered and bruised. I like an action cover, so that one jumped out at us quite a bit.
It's a very cool cover, mate. When you sent it to me, it was like, this is my cover pick. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Why didn't I see this one? I really like the way that they've done the Wolverine's claws, because it almost looks like that kind of necroplasm that Spawn has, that kind of luminescent green that kind of draws your eye straight in. That's the first thing I saw, and I was like, that is pretty cool. That's awesome. In all fairness, I thought,
as usual, but with Marvel, it's the banner around the edge kind of spoils it a bit, doesn't it?
It does very much so. I think it would be much better if the Predator versus Wolverine was higher up and up in the corner where the 20th Century Fox Studios thing is. But then I suppose they have to have the branding on there somewhere, and this, that, and the other. I love that his signature almost looks like a tattoo or like a stamp that's been like stamped on Predator. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep, and I'm a sucker for Predator. I'm looking forward to this series actually. So yeah. It's a nice one.
When I think it was back in 2019 when they announced that they'd taken over and they'd got Alien and Predator, and then they released the Alien books, and they're like, we are going to do a Predator book. I straight there, and I said to Rich, I was like, 100% there's a Predator versus Wolverine. Because why would you not? Why would you not put the best there is at what he does against the best there is at what he does?
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope it's a kind of I would prefer it if it was an Elseworld kind of thing, so there's some stakes in it, because that Wolverine's not going to get killed. You know what I mean? I'd like it to be kind of out of continuity kind of battle. Would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like sort of like Interstellar sort of fight. Maybe Wolverine stepped through one of the Krakoan gates and ended up in the wrong timeline, wrong place sort of thing.
Yeah, would be very cool.
That would be cool.
Very cool.
That would be cool. Right then, guys. So the vote hopefully is live if I've pushed the button correctly. That is hopefully up there. If you can all see it, let me know. If you can't see it, again, let me know. I'm kind of winging it and going off on my Jones on this one. So
it's up. I voted.
Awesome. So let's just go through the covers again, guys, so you all know what you're voting on. So you've got my cover, which is the Killer Comics Superman cover. You've got Harley's Charlie. Harley, I might as well call him Harley.
Harley's Charlie.
Harley's
Charlie.
Harley's Charlie Quinn, black, white, and redder. And then you've got Triple G's Harley Chin, black, white, and redder, which isn't black, white, and redder. It happens to be Predator versus Wolverine issue 1, which we're all quite looking forward to see anyway. So yeah, if you'd all like to vote, that would be great. If you could also smash that like button for us, and drop any comments you want to drop below if you're watching it on the rewind, as it were. And also remember, guys, if you want to get involved in the cover pick, you can always email me or Charlie your cover pick, and we'll try and feature it on the show if we think it's any good. Jokes. We'll probably will feature it regardless if we think it's crap. Anyway, moving on. You came here for pretty much to see me wobble around and not be very good at what I talk about. But we are into the crux of the show. So this is where we review the comics from last week. So we're looking at last week's comics, which is week 37. And we're going to be covering Batman, the Gargoyle of Gotham, and the CULL. So first up, we are going to cover Batman, the Gargoyle of Gotham. Now, the synopsis of this one is: when you chase your own shadow, it leads to your abyss. It leads into the abyss. In a Gotham City where every day feels darker and more irredeemable than the last, Batman makes a defiant choice to kill off Bruce Wayne, kill off the Bruce Wayne identity for good and embrace the cowl full time. But through this, he knows the streets of Gotham. Batman will soon come to find that he hardly knows himself at all. A serial killer is on the loose, and while the murder victims seem random at first, every clue draws Batman closer to the terrifying truth that they are all connected. Not just fucking hell, this is long. Excuse my language. Not just to each other, but to him. When all rogues gallery of unlikely developed characters join the villainry, begins an emerge of the depths of the city. There we go. It sounded good. Probably sounds better if you read it yourself. Anyway, we've got the main cover by Raphael Grampa. You've got cover B by Jim Lee. Jim Lee's just awesome. I love Jim Lee. You've got cover C by Frank Miller and Jock, and then you've got cover D by David Finch. So I'm going to throw this over to you, Peter, to get us started, because as I said earlier, alluded to, I read the first 3 pages backwards. So
yeah. I mean, the first thing I would say is I didn't realize cover C was by Frank Miller and Jock. Actually, that's really cool. But actually, cover A, the standard cover, is just friggin' amazing. I just love the aesthetic of the leather cape kind of hanging over the guard. It's just, yeah, it's breathtaking. So I want to give a big shout out to I think, you know, your channel's favorite fan and mine, Fuzzy Dunlop, because he put this book on my radar. And Fuzzy's taste is exceptional, so I knew I had to pick this up and read it. This is just an amazing book. I don't read masses of Batman. I don't read it regularly. I tend to read events and things like that. I love a kind of an Elseworld, which is what these black labels are. They're like the olden day Elseworld. You know, it's a different take on them. This starts off really strong with this new version of Batman basically doing a bust in this old building. And it's the Batman style that I like. He's in the shadows. He's kind of appearing out of nowhere. And there's a scene where he lifts him off, and all you can see is the cape and the guy's feet kind of kicking underneath, which I just love. Yeah. So the action's really cool. I enjoy the artwork. We'll get introduced to this new villain, as you mentioned. And again, a new villain. I like it where we're not just sticking with the old kind of tried and tested villains. This guy was pretty interesting. He's got a fascination with cartoons for some reason, which we don't quite understand yet. But he's formidable. He beats Batman on a couple of occasions. You get this fantastic costume, which Jim Lee's displaying beautifully on cover B there. You get the introduction of the, what are they called? The Blindmobile, which is basically a Batmobile without windows and things. And there's a detective story, which I like in my Batman stories. I like him being the world's greatest detective. The interaction between him and Alfred is spot on. I just loved it. I really enjoyed it. More than I expected. It's definitely got us intrigued to pick up the next issue. So yeah, I thought it was tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree with you. I think it was one of the better Batman comics that I've read in recent years. And I think for me, it was more because I don't know if you remember when they revamped Bond and you went from Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig. There was this kind of element that he was actually in danger and he actually could get hurt. Whereas the Pierce Brosnan Bond, you're like, oh, it's all right, he'll get out of that. It's not a problem. Whereas with this, I found that because it was so gritty and Batman got really battered a couple of times, you're kind of thinking like, actually, he could get really hurt here, or could this be the death of Batman in this book? Like, it really did give me that sense of danger. And like you said, I quite like it when they bring in the detective side of Batman. He starts having to figure things out, and he's talking about forensics and patterns and kind of trying to link everything together. And his relationship with Commissioner Gordon in this is quite interesting as well, because you get that element that, as in all the Batman comics, is that Commissioner Gordon is backing Batman, but the rest of the police force are not. So that was quite good to really explore that as well. I thought the villain was bloody cool, actually. Nice to have a brand spanking new villain, and I thought they did really well with the idea of the character, which I thought, don't want to spoil it too much, but like Peter alluded to, he's obsessed with with cartoons, and then there's something in that which is quite cool. Even his hairstyle, down to like the way he appears, is just incredible.
I like the way as well that, and I know we've seen it before, particularly in the Jim Lee stuff, I guess, but I like the way it was explaining kind of how his senses work, Batman, in terms of you'd speak to the cowl and it increased volume by 50%, so he could hear stuff around him more clearly, and the infrared and all the rest of it. And I really did like the design of the new costume. I thought it looked interesting,
I did too. I thought it looked gritty and like it's something different. And the padding like around his neck and like underneath, because it's actual padding, and you're like, oh, cool. So he's not just wearing an armor; he's got like proper padding and stuff. Like, And
it was. I mean, there was some, for a Batman gritty book, there was some funny bits in it. So like when he was talking to Alfred and he was saying, "What was it? I've spent half my inheritance on a car, and you can't get the GPS to work," because he was driving blind and stuff like that. I thought that was just quite. I liked that back and forth, and the cake on his seat from Alfred.
The cake was a good touch. I think, like you said, now that you've alluded to it, there's that element of like, it's got everything. I think this book, it's got grit, it's got danger, it's got the element of detective comic side of things, and then it's got that element of humor just underneath. Especially when he's like, "I'm going to kill off Bruce Wayne," and Alfred's like, "Yeah, whatever. You said that before. Blah blah blah. Carry on." I was like, "That's pretty cool." He's just fobbing him off. I thought that's great.
No, but a good book, I think, for me.
Yeah. So then, Peter, let's Charlie normally rates it out of 10. So what would you rate the artwork and the story out of 10?
Oh, story for me, it's got us intrigued. It's got us definitely going back. So it's probably 8.5, I think. The artwork, the artwork, I really enjoyed it, but I can imagine it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? It's got a kind of a, I don't know. It's an interesting style, but again, I think it was very, very strong. So probably a 7.5. I'm going to go with.
Cool. So like an 8 all round, really. If you kind of
I'll go for an 8 all round. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I would probably agree with you. I think that for me, the artwork was a lot higher than the story. I thought the artwork told the story better than the actual story itself. And there was a few long-winded bits from someone like myself who is dyslexic. It got a bit kind of, I felt myself skipping, but I didn't miss much from skipping. I managed to pick it up via the kind of the artwork, and later on the story kind of explains itself. So it's not like you need a degree in science to be able to understand what's going on, which is pretty good. So I would, again, like you, give this a 8 out of 10.
I would say, now I'm not going to spoil it, but I would say the last couple of pages, the revelation, as it were, kind of came a little bit left field for us. I don't know why. I wasn't expecting that. The name in the book, kind of thing. That I don't know where that came from, if that makes sense.
I'd probably agree, mate. Like that kind of came, like you said, left field, and I would probably say it wasn't necessary. Yeah, that makes sense. I almost feel like it was like an unnecessary thing to the suspense, and then suddenly it's like wham, and you're like, all right. That doesn't make sense at all.
Interested to see where it goes.
Yes, definitely, mate. Definitely. So the next book that oh no, sorry, I forgot to show the slides. Oh, he's already cocked it up. Couldn't even read. Now he's cocked it up. Completely forgot to show the pages. So here are the pages we picked for the book that we enjoyed. So it kind of shows what Peter was saying about the lurking in the darkness here on the left-hand side, about how it's kind of going back to that old school Batman where you can't really see what he looks like, and he's beating up villains in the background. Same to the panel that I've picked in the middle. And then Charlie is showing you what the main character looked like on the end, the villain, who has got obsession with this cartoon character in these movies. So pretty cool.
I just think that first page, I don't know why, but you see the kind of the dark corridor, as it were, and the flick of the light, and he's just there. I mean, you would just shit your pants, wouldn't you? I mean, it's just tremendous, you know.
Well, I don't know about whether I'd shit my pants. I might be sick, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, it's Batman. Yeah. I don't know what. Do you know what? If actually, I've had this conversation with my wife a few times. If I flick the light on and off, and then there's a figure in the room or anything else, I don't know what I'd do. I really don't know what I'd do unless I was in the situation. I don't know what I'd do. I know when I was part of the fire service that when they turned the lights off and we had to wait for the fire thing, and they moved the dummy and he was closer to me. And then they obviously flicked the flash and fire up, and I had to rescue that. But my instinct was just to grab it and run out with it.
Yeah.
But I think in a normal situation, you're not going to grab it, are you?
No. There's a great horror short. I think it's only about 8 minutes long, called Lights Out, which is you don't want to watch it before bed, but it's very, very good. Yeah.
Okay. I don't do horror, but I will. I'll put that on the not to watch.
Yeah. Avoid.
Ooh, cool. So the second book that me and Peter reviewed, and Charlie actually, I think, read this one, is the second issue to the CULL, which is written by Kelly Thompson and artwork by Matilda Day Lewis. Cover A is by Martha Day Lewis. Cover B is by the amazing Toiler Lloyd. Shit. And then cover C is by Sales variant that Charlie has put. So the synopsis for this one is Cleo confesses elicit more fears than anger from the group, and everyone sticks together in a great unknown, sentient mushrooms for everyone. So I don't know if did you read issue 1, or did you have to go back and read issue 1 and then read issue 2? So I really enjoyed issue 1. I thought it was a great book, and it was a great character building book that kind of give you the idea of where these characters are going to go. There's going to be an alien invasion, and hopefully it all kind of, sorts itself out, as it were. And this main character, Cleo, is obviously she's looking for her little brother who's gone missing. So her friends and her are looking for her little brother in this unknown. Her friends didn't know what they were doing. They were kind of going to help film this kind of short movie, and then they've ended up on this adventure with Cleo. But they've all kind of been blackmailed into it, if you like, emotionally blackmailed into helping Cleo. And they're all like, we're going to die. So brilliant. Cheers. Thanks for bringing us along. So for me, I thought this was a good book, but I'm going to throw it over to you, Peter, to see what you think. But yes, I have got some ideas / thoughts.
I absolutely adored the first issue. I thought the first issue was really intriguing, really got us hooked in. The artwork in this is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. It's beautiful. But I'm afraid there's a bit of a but. And I did enjoy this book, but I'm not sure what happened. It felt a bit, not a slog. That's not the right word. It didn't blow us away like the first issue did. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I can't. I'm finding it hard to put into words. It was just kind of. It was all right. It just. It didn't do anything to really excite us. I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know what you took from it, Tom, but I'm assuming that whatever they interact with, they're somehow evolving. So the creature at the end there is the creature you saw earlier on, and it's evolved because of their interaction. Is what I think's happening. The color work is stunning. The dialogue is good. It just didn't feel like it really excited us, if that's fair to say.
I think that's a fair comment, mate. I really do. I mean, from my point of view, I totally agree. I think what's happened is they've stepped into this void that they're calling this kind of nexus. They think that each rock It's essentially goes to a different world, and they've stepped into this kind of nexus that kind of collects everything together. I think every time they interact with something, it evolves. Same as what you said. So I actually think the thing that she picked up in her hand, which is like seaweed or whatever, then becomes the cat that then becomes the person at the end. That's what I think has happened.
Yeah.
That is literally the only thing that happens in this book that is relevant. Everything else, apart from finding out that they've been emotionally blackmailed by Cleo to go into this kind of unknown, which makes it more intriguing to read issue 3, because it is a bit of, I would say, if you're thinking about filler or character building, this is that kind of book. I believe issue 2 is essentially just a character building book that gives you a bit of like background on the characters and kind of accelerates their characters going forward. But nothing really happens other than the evolution of the cat, which was disappointing for me because I enjoyed, like we said, I enjoyed issue 1, and the artwork is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's so pretty, the artwork to read. It's a real joy to read, actually, artwork wise. But the story just didn't go anywhere. I wonder, like I was longing for something to happen.
Some kind of excitement. So I think it's interesting because when you asked us to pick my favorite page, even though the artwork is absolutely stunning, I kind of struggled a bit because I don't know why. There was nothing kind of wow. You know, it was it was interesting. I do wonder though, in terms of the evolution bit, I wonder, they made a big point of completely randomly 2 of the characters having sex halfway through the book. I wonder if they're going to have a sudden birth or something like that, if the evolution's going to kick in there.
I'm interested.
I'm interested and I'm invested, so I will definitely be reading on. This just felt like, do you know, sometimes when you're watching a TV series, you have that kind of filler episode where it's just, oh yeah, it was there, it was nice, but nothing really happened. That's how this felt a little bit for us.
Yeah, it was like just basically filler. Yeah. Oh, what a shame. What did you want to give it out of 10 then, mate?
Art is stunning, so I can't criticize the art. I would probably go for a 6. I think for me, it's better than average. It's keeping us entertained, I guess.
Yeah, I think I would totally agree with you. I think a 6 is solid because the artwork is what makes it. But if you took the artwork away and you just went off pure story and dialogue, it'd be a 2, 100%. Like it's not worth the read. However, from a personal point of view, I want to read issue 3 because I want to see where the evolution of this cat goes. Yeah, absolutely. Because I just want to see what happens. And like you said, I kind of want to find out what happens with the 2 characters that had sex, because I kind of want to find out if they have a baby or like something even more strange happens, like, you know, a bit further down the line. They've not even had a baby, but say, for instance, you know, they're walking around and then suddenly this character appears. It's like, you're my mom and dad. And it's like, well, how can we be? It's like, well, you were in the forest doing the bizzo and nature created something whilst you were doing it. It's like, wow, what's that all about?
Absolutely. James has made a comment there, and I did think that myself. You know, it was a little bit random because I think these characters said they've known each other for years and years, and they're just, you know, they're having a bit plodge. Plodge is a northern word, I think. Plodge in the sea. Plodge. And then they just thought, you know what, let's get it on. Let's just, you know, we're in a strange land, glowing shit all over. Let's strip our clothes off and lie. Yeah. It was just a bit weird. Yeah.
I've just noticed that ABZ has joined us. Hello, mate. Sorry, I didn't notice you till just now. And I've also noticed that Simon's here as well. So nice to see you, Simon. Thank you for joining us. I am very sorry I couldn't join you. When you sent me the link, I was basically in the gym with a client and I didn't get a chance to come on. So apologies, but it sounds like you did a good show. And if you haven't seen it or you would like to see it, please head over and check Simon's show out. It is all about One Piece, and he might even persuade you to read it because I think he's persuaded Triple G to watch it. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely worth a look.
And then the man himself, our friend who's no longer with us on the show, Perpetual Comics, is here, who I believe is actually joining you on Monday, is he not?
Yeah, going to be a good one. I was saying I need to get you on, Tom, because I'm going to have Andy on Monday. I'm going to have Charlie on Tuesday, so I need you to complete me set. Do you know
on the Wednesday, I'm going to have money on Tuesday.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. I will set my alarm for that one. I mean, I might be in the gym. But I will. I'll see if I can pop on and give them a bit of banter over the old
good stuff.
over the old socials. I might even abuse him a little bit. That's where you do it, isn't it?
Yeah, be fine. Yeah.
Hashtag community.
Yeah.
So guys, we're now into the part of the show where we talk about final order cutoff, and we go through our top 3. And Peter's kindly joined us on this one, so it's mine, Charlie's, and Peter's pick. So for those of you who are new to the show and don't know anything about final cutoff order, final cutoff order is the date where retailers must submit their orders before publishers set their print runs. Orders must be placed with Slab Crusaders before 9 p.m. every Sunday, or you might not get your books. And also the books themselves might get cancelled, so you need to at least order one if you want one. I myself have been victim of this, and I know Andy has as well, where we've not got on to the comics early enough, and we've ended up with nothing. I'm sure yourself, Triple G, have also been at the crux of that, especially if you've got the rumors of like a first appearance or something that you want to get that you can slab, or even for those flippers out there that want to get it and then flip it for more money, this is the sort of time to get on it before it's, you know, no longer around it. Silly money for stuff. So first up, I believe is yours, Triple G.
Yeah. Look at that, man. What's not to love? So this is issue 2 of Kill Your Darlings. This first issue, I don't know if you've read it, Tom. This first issue was absolutely breathtaking. The artwork was stunning. It's a story basically of a young girl who has a fantasy land of colourful characters and things that she draws, and then she has some kind of fit. And during the fit, everything in the fantasy land is murdered and killed. And then when she comes out of it, tragedies kind of all around her in her house and stuff. But this is one of the characters that she's invented and drawn. This is it's like an elephant in a safari costume, and it's just amazing. And I just love that cover. So, like I say, elephant with a bow and arrow, you can't go wrong. So definitely want to pick that one up.
Elephant with a bow and arrow, you most certainly cannot go.
Yeah. Look at his trunk. Look at his trunk, man. Yeah, he's mint.
Hashtag look at his trunk. I mean, it's a bit early for that.
Look at the trunk on that. Yeah.
Look at the trunk on that.
Yeah, it's a great series. Honestly, it's worth reading.
Yeah, nice, I think I'll try and get into that one, mate.
Yeah.
And then my pick for Final Cut-Off is Plot Holes issue 2. If you guys haven't read Plot Holes, it is a very, very interesting book. It's written by Sean Gordon Murphy, who brought us the White Knight, and he's also brought us the Batman Beyond White Knight. So he's incredible. This book basically talks. The idea of it is they're characters within books that have to travel within other books to make sure that those books can be published. Now it sounds a bit silly, but I truthfully read the first issue, thought it was incredible. So basically they kind of go in, and if the book's a bit rubbish, they kind of erase parts of the book to help that book then be decent enough to publish. It sounds, like I said, sounds batshit, but
I've got the first issue, but I haven't read it yet. I got the is there a Better Ray Bill variant?
Yes,
I think for that. So yeah, I've picked that one up, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's very good. I mean, I literally think it's probably going to be my favorite book of the year so far.
Okay.
It's kind of got. I've got the same love for it like I did for Do a Powerbomb at the moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Tremendous. Yeah.
And then up next is Charlie's pick, and Charlie has gone for Sirens of the City issue 4, and that one's by Jonah Starter and Kea Randolph. I actually completely forgot, guys. I'm going to go back to Triple G's. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to Slab Crusaders, where you can buy this comic, both raw and slabbed, if you want them raw or slabbed. So I'll leave this here for a second for you to scan if you want to get this one, and if you want to get this one. And then this one. But yeah, this is Charlie's pick. This is Sirens of the City, issue 4. Have you been reading Sirens of the City?
I've read the first issue and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I got the second issue and I think I flicked through it. So I've not read it properly yet. So I need to go back and read issue 2, I think.
Right. So I only read issue 1.
Right.
I didn't flick through issue 2. I thought issue 1 was a great premise, to be perfectly honest. I thought it was a really good idea that she's kind of...
Yeah.
Because when I first read it, I thought, oh, she's just a normal person. And then as the story progresses, you're like, oh, man, actually, this is pretty cool. This is pretty in-depth stuff going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, I had exactly the same feeling, Tom. And like I say, I enjoyed it. It kept us going. but it was one of those books that you read and it made us question, have I missed something? Was there a series before this? Because it's acting like I should know and understand everything that's happening in terms of all these different races and characters and stuff without any kind of explanation to it. So
I think that was the most difficult part.
Yeah. So, but I will read issue 2 and see.
Yeah, but then like I think it's kind of giving you that you should know. Why don't you know? And you're like, oh, maybe I need to read more because I don't know.
Like I say, I thought, awesome. Is this volume 2 and I've missed volume 1 or something? Is there something going on here? But yeah.
Right, well, that's the final order cut-off that we've all picked, and then that now brings us on to the good part of the show that Andy used to do that has now been left on mine and Charlie's shoulders, where we have to pick some killer indie picks. So up first, I believe, is you, Triple G. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about the Ribbon Queen?
Yeah, so tip of the hat again to Andy, because you guys got me into indie books. I was very much a Marvel and a DC man before I started watching Killer Comic Show.
Same.
And I've loved the indie books I've picked up. Ribbon Queen is a book that totally passed me by until issue 2 came out and I spotted the cover. And the basic premise of this, Garth Ennis explains it in the first issue in a bit of a kind of a text thing at the end of it, where he says it's based on that old kind of thing your parents would say to you, where they would say, be careful that it'll cut you to ribbons. And he's turned that into a concept in the comic. And it's basically a crime story about a corrupt cop who rescues a young lady but then becomes obsessed with her and ends up trying to kill her, I think. And she prays for help to this Ribbon Queen. You don't know the full story yet, but prays to help for the Ribbon Queen. And basically what the Ribbon Queen does is she unfolds your skin. So there's some horrific images where this cop is in front of his family, his young kids, and he's in ribbons. His skin's coming off his body and he's screaming and you can see his exposed body underneath. It's just horrific, but it's really intriguing. Not your kind of book.
What is with you and Andy, man? I'm out. You have to get off the show.
But honestly, it is grotesque, but it's really intriguing. So issue 2's just been out and it was phenomenal. Issue 3 next week. I cannot wait to get into this and find out what the hell is going on and what this Ribbon Queen is.
Do you know what though, mate? Now you discussed it and stuff. Although I'm not massively into horror and things, it sounds like something I might want to pick up and have a look at, especially because Garth Ennis is an incredible writer.
Yeah,
I've had the pleasure of meeting Garth, and he's a really like sound dude.
Wow.
He was at NiceCon a few years back.
Yeah,
really cool. So I might, even because we're only 3 issues in, I might give it a crack.
I mean, to be honest, to be honest, Tom, the grotesque stuff happens at the end of issue 1 and then continues on a bit. But the first half of the story, because I had not read anything about this, I just thought it was a cop kind of story, and the dialogue is first class. It reads like a really good kind of cop noir detective story, and then all of a sudden you get this madness of the Ribbon Queen coming
in. I think it might be worth a look. Also, what might be worth a look, Andy has just mentioned that Zoe Thorogood, hold on, I should show this to you again. Zoe Thorogood's has got a new series out, and it is also on FOC this week, and it's a hack and slash spin-off. I've never read hack and slash, so
me neither. It's not a one I've managed to catch up on.
Yeah, I think GP. Someone said, GP's put he loves hack and slash, so that's a good review. That's just a good start. So anyone else that's read it, let me know. I might even pick it up myself and have a look. Sounds good. Next one up is my pick. So I've gone for Void Rivals issue 4. This is written by Robert Kirkham and artwork by Lorenzo De Flecci. This has been a great run. Very, very cool. But I know it's only setting up for Transformers and G.I. Joe and everything like that. So I am excited to read this because the premise of this one is the fact that they've actually managed to get to the Sacred Ring now. And you've got the 2 rival gangs are now like, she's had to take him to her planet or her side of the ring. So it's going to find out what that's all about. But apparently the end of this book is, it's got like the most shocking conclusion to this book. It's like going to build onto, I think it's 6 issues in total. But this is like the penultimate shocking conclusion that's going to then spin off into another series. So it's going to have something to do with G.I. Joe, in my opinion, because I haven't touched on that yet.
Yeah.
So it's got to be G.I. Joe.
I'd love them to throw something else in there as well, mind. Mask or something like that. You know, because I think they've got a lot of these properties. So something like that would be amazing.
They've got Mask. They've got Dino Riders.
They've got Visionaries.
I believe they have got Visionaries, because Visionaries was an IDW thing. So that actually, do you know what? The IDW Visionary Transformers run was terrible. But I'd love to see them redo Visionaries. Visionaries was so good.
It's amazing.
Let's do a show about Visionaries.
Yeah, Visionaries is honestly one of my all-time favorites. I love it. Got a load of the toys. Well, I've got a few of the toys as well.
Oh, mate, so cool. I can't remember the name of the guy, the character, who is basically, he's a bad guy, but he's got Optimus Prime's voice. But he turns into a bear. No, a green.
Oh,
yeah.
Begins
with a C, I'm sure it does.
I'm
going to sit here and twiggle right now. So if I go quiet.
yeah. But yeah, tremendous. And Void Rivals, I've been really enjoying. It's got some deep cuts, mind. I think if you don't know your Transformers lore, you know, there's some interesting characters turn up that you kind of scratch your head at until you try and work out who they are, you know.
Well, in the issue 2, issue 3, they introduced the Quintessons.
Yeah.
Now, if you haven't actually ever read a comic book to do with Transformers, you'd be like, who is this character? Why they're all like, you know, look like an octopus, and what is this all about? And that's the problem, I would say, with this book in all round, is it's brilliant. So if you know what you're looking for, you know, it's like a fan fiction kind of fan service sort of thing. But if you don't know what you're looking for, they haven't given you enough information to know what that character is, or even get your juices flowing to find out about that character.
It would have been
one was awesome.
Oh, just breathtaking. Yeah, it would have been handy to have, like, you know. So I've just been reading on JP's channel, Crossover, and in that they introduce, is it Velaflax, the sword or something from So you get the introduction of it, but then you get like a page of explanation after the story saying this is what they could have done that for this. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like a bit of a who's who kind of thing at the back. But I'm loving this. I'm hype beyond belief for the new Transformers series. I'm just I feel for an 80s nostalgia nerd, this is like the mecca, isn't it? We're getting G.I. Joe, we're getting Transformers. Yeah, it's mint.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've heavily invested in the first Transformers by issue 1.
Stupidly. I've got ridiculous numbers. Yeah,
I've got both the ash cans. Oh God.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not a regret. I wouldn't say it was a regret, but I think I pulled the plug on my comic shop far too early, because I could have had a Transformers exclusive now, which was always my dream. But you never know. I might get my artwork on a Transformer comic one day. Yeah.
Drawn Optimus Prime face on that Superman cover from earlier.
In his chest.
An Autobot symbol. No, an Autobot symbol. Superman's an Autobot. Yeah, that would be cool. Man, it's like we sound like proper nerds now.
The show's digressed. There's no one here to keep us under control. What's up, Sean? Say Sean. He's here. Nice to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us. And then finally, the final indie pick is Charlie's pick, and he's picked no surprises. He's gone for Alice Ever After issue 3 by the great Dan Panosian. It's not Panosian, it's Panosian. Art by George Belletta. Now, this has been a great series, and I'm really intrigued to see whether or not Andy is correct, and that Alice actually is about to give birth later on in the comic, because he seems to think that she's got, you know, the White Rabbit is essentially her period, and she's running away from her. And she's actually pregnant, which is why she keeps being sick. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Heavily invested anyway, because, you know, Dan Panosian is a good friend of the show. So
yeah.
Have you been reading this one, mate?
I haven't read the first series, so I read was it issue 1 of this series, and I kind of felt that I need to go back and read the first one to properly understand what's happening. So I'm going to go back and read the first series and then pick the rest of this up, I think.
I mean, why would you not want to read this? It's got Tweedledum and Tweedledee, some cuckoo bird style thing. You've got Nemo, and then Tony the Tiger's turned up, all geared up with like all the rings.
Yeah, the artwork's phenomenal, mate. I think the artwork in the issue was tremendous. Yeah,
It's cool that they split it between the two of them. So Dan Panosian is doing Wonderland, and George Spiletta is doing the Real World. Whereas in the original book, it was the other way around. So it's quite good that they're mixing that up, because it gives you a chance to know which one's which.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. So it's very cool. So those are the indie picks that we've come up with, which then brings us, unfortunately, to the end of the show. I mean, that's a very short one today.
Short one, yeah. Was it you? Yeah.
So let's see who has won the Killer Comic cover of the week. So ending the poll now, guys. So thank you very much for everyone who voted. And the results are in. So with 23%, and at the bottom of the pile is Charlie, as per usual. No surprise there, guys.
Bless him. Bless him.
And then with 38% joint is both me and yourself, Peter.
Oh, I'll take that. That's acceptable. Yeah.
I get a half a point and you get a half a point.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're all winners here, mate, because you've joined me on the show tonight, which has been awesome. You've been an absolute pleasure to have here.
Thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, Tom. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's always good fun with you guys. So, thank you very much for having us. I do appreciate that.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you, Peter? I'm going to pop you up big, if you can. Oh, that sounds rude. I'll pop you up big.
So I'm over at Triple G Comics on Instagram and on YouTube. I do far too many live shows. Got one tomorrow night with my friend Efren from Passpoint Comics. And then I've got one on Saturday night. And then on Monday, I've got This Is My with Andy. So that should be fun. And I put out action video and comic book videos every couple of days. So lots going on.
Lots going on, mate. Do you want to tell people about your Instagram as well? You got an Instagram?
Yeah, so I tend to just stick any old stuff on Instagram, to be honest, but images of toys that have taken my interest or comic book news and all that kind of stuff. And anything goes really on my Instagram channel.
Anything goes on Instagram anyway, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
On that note, if you want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us on Instagram / The Killer Comic Show, or you can find us on Twitter, The Killer Comic Show. If you want to follow Charlie specifically, the Killer Geeky Guy Comics is on Instagram. You've also got him on Twitter under Geeky Guy Comics. You've got myself under Not Quite Mint. Or if you want to follow my personal training journey, you can follow me on Tom Malin PT. If you're missing Andy, like we all are every single day of my life, you can find Andy on perpetual.comics. That's perpetual.comics. Don't forget the dot on Instagram. Or you can find him on Twitter, which under Perpetual Comics. And that, unfortunately, is not the end of the show. I was like...
I like that. You didn't forget. It was building the excitement and the tension, exactly, wasn't it? Yeah.
I just kind of pulled my punches. I was about to say stay safe, stay sexy, and then it's like, boom, in with the sneak peeks. So these are the sneak peeks that we're thinking about reading next week for you. So these are the comic books that came out yesterday that we'll read for next week's show. Peter has kindly picked one as well, which is quite cool. These will hopefully go up on the community tab after the show. If not, they'll go up tomorrow, so you guys can come on the show and vote like you do every week and help us pick which books we're going to read. We're probably going to read 2 next week because we're kind of put a pause on the spotlight character thing at the moment just because of time restraints. But they will be back shortly. I mean, I've got one lined up to do, hopefully, if I can get all my slides and stuff right. I'd quite like to do Darren Warren Johnson before the Transformer comic comes out, if not the same week. So we'll see how that pans out.
I've been really enjoying those, so we look forward to seeing some of them. They're brilliant.
Yeah, they've been really good, and they've been really educational for ourselves. Like, it gives me a chance to talk passionately about a comic book I like, and same with Andy, and the same with Charlie. Charlie has got stuff to do Iron Man. I think it's just been a bit of a time constraint thing to get the slides ready to do it, which is time constraints are terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter, you're up first.
Yeah, so Charlie will kill us, but I'm not a massive Harley Quinn reader. I did read what's the hardback that came out not too long ago? Was it Harleen? I think it was called.
I read Black Label.
Yeah, the Black Label one. I read that and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I have been reading more recently Harley Screws Up the DCU, which was a great fun read. And that, plus Charlie's constant passion for the character, got us to pick up Harley Quinn Black, White and Redder. So I've been reading it since issue 1, and I flaming love it. It's just it's a mixture of madness, mental storytelling, but also stuff that's got real heart to it. So the last issue in particular, the conversation between her and Jim Gordon was just heartbreaking, you know, and she's saying nobody takes us serious. And there's the whole story of her just being associated with the Joker all the time. So yeah, so I've fallen in love with this series in particular. It plays to what I really enjoy in comic books in terms of it being kind of an anthology, just short stories, not necessarily all linked into continuity. So I haven't got to know the last 20 backstory years of our life. I can just pick the book up and it's a singular story, which I love. I love those kind of books. So yeah, I think it's a tremendous read, well worth picking up. Even if you're not a massive Harley Quinn fan, just give it a go and see if there's bound to be something, because there's normally about 3 or 4 tales in each book. There's bound to be something that floats your boat.
Yeah, man. And the artwork's stunning.
Oh yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that cover is just phenomenal. I love the fact that they give you, I just really like the negative kind of things, because it kind of makes your eye fill out the blanks. So you know where her leg is, you know where her arm is, you know where the top of her hat is, just from your eyes working it out. I just think it's really clever the way they do it. It is good. And then next up is Sirens of the Sea, which I think is issue 3, because issue 4 is on FOC. So this is issue 3. That's another one you can pick next week. Hopefully, if you did pick that one, that would be quite a good one, because I don't think Charlie's read Sirens of the City yet. I might be wrong on that one. And then the one I really want to read, guys, if you can vote for it, is Big Game issue 3, because Big Game has been awesome from start to wherever we are now. We are at issue 3. Has been awesome. Issue 1 was incredible. Issue 2 was. I actually feel like I've read an anthology on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so much has happened in those 2 issues. It took me a little while to work my brain out then, because so much has happened.
It's tremendous. It's a non-stop book. It's just every issue is just packed of stuff happening. It's brilliant. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. And then finally, the last pick you can get is the Uncanny Spider-Man, which is basically Nightcrawler pretending to be Spider-Man. I don't know if anyone's been reading the X-Men comics recently. It has got quite good. I'm going back and rereading it. It has got a little bit good, but it's still a lot of, if you don't know, then you don't know, if you get my drift.
Yeah. Some of the books I've really been enjoying, and then others, it's just hot. There's a one, I can't remember which one it is, with Exodus slogging across the desert looking for New Krakoa. That's not doing it for us. But some of them, I agree with you. Since the Hellfire Gala, it's definitely picked up a bit, I think, for me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's almost like it's got a bit of a steamroll. I think now that Jonathan Hickman has left,
do you not think it
seems to?
Yeah, do you not think it's trying to get the X-Men ready for an MCU pickup? So we're getting back to there being fewer of them on the Earth, you know, hated by everybody, and back to the traditional X-Men kind of arc. I think.
I would totally agree with you, mate. I think from an outsider looking in, I think what's happening is they're setting it up for 1 or 2 main massive characters that are then going to be the MCU characters that we know and love. I just really hope they do Colossus. And I know his story is really bad at the moment, but it'd be cool if he could be part of the MCU.
So that's the one that I read, and I didn't have a clue what was happening, because all of a sudden he had a girl buried in his back garden or something. So I wasn't sure what was going on with that.
I don't think it's him. So I'm pretty sure in X-Force there's a lot of cloning going on at the start. So I'm not sure it's actually the Colossus that we know and love. I actually am going to do a character spotlight on Colossus at some point. He's my favorite character by far. And I'm lucky enough to own his first appearance.
Oh, yeah, very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Giant size.
So that actually finally does bring me to the end of the show. I'd like to massively thank my co-host. Thank you so much for joining me, Triple G. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Loved every minute of it. Thank you so much.
No, and you're welcome to come anytime, mate. I mean, if Charlie's not here or I'm not here, you're more than welcome to fill your boots and join us. It's been absolutely amazing.
Spot on.
I'd like to thank everyone who's joined us in the chat. It's been awesome, guys. You've been very lively this evening. I can see you've all been chatting to each other. I'm sorry if I've not popped you up and you've said hello or anything. On your own, it's quite difficult to do that and talk and do everything. So I apologize if I've missed you. Thank you ever so much for spending your Thursday nights with us. And as Andy has put here, everyone have a nice weekend, but be kind to each other, please. It's very important that we're all kind to each other. We're all in the same community, really. Just be nice. And on that note, as I always say, every week, stay safe, stay geek. See you all.
Bye.